Story. Once upon a time, in the heartland of the Yoruba tribe in West Africa, there lived a young boy named Olumide. Olumide lived in a small village called Ife, a place known for its lush green fields, tall palm trees, and beautiful arts, but most of all, celebrated for its enigmatic drummers who filled the air with rhythmic beats that danced with the gush of the wind. Olumide, slender and nimble, had an immense passion for drumming. However, despite his passion, he came from a family of farmers who believed more in the yielding clouds of the earth than the vibrant melodies of the drums. Olumide's father, Baba, was a revered farmer whose yam barns were the envy of the entire village. He valued hard work and didn't see the drumming enthusiasm that filled his son's heart. Dejected, but respecting his father's wish, Olumide spent his days tilling the ground, but his heart's rhythm synchronized not with the harmony of work but the drum beat he longed for. One day, while returning from the farm, Olumide's eyes caught the sight of an old man, Akin, a legendary drummer who was renowned in Ife. Akin was teaching a group of young boys the art of drumming. Watching them from a distance, Olumide felt a rush of excitement. Gathering every ounce of his courage, he approached the old man. Showing him his hands, hardened and thickened by the frequent use of the farming tools, Olumide, eyes glistening with pure dedication and hope, asked, "Can I learn, sir?" Sensing the boy's passion, Akin smiled and said, "These hands are not made for drumming. These are hands of a tiller, they feed nations. However, if your heart beats in the rhythm you desire, these hands will follow. Come, let's shape nations with rhythms as well." And thus began the journey of Olumide, the farmer's son turning into Olumide, the drummer. He would farm by day and practice under the moonlight. The villagers were enthralled by the two different beats that emanated from Olumide's home, one from the courtyard where he worked on his father's yam and the other from his humble hut where he beat the drum. However, Baba disapproved of his son splitting his worlds. One night, Baba threw the drum into the fire, and the flames just swallowed Olumide's dreams. But Olumide didn't let his dreams die. He approached Akin and explained everything. Understanding the situation, Akin nodded and took Olumide to the village square where a huge log resided, often used by drummers during their performances. Akin said, "This is the tree of life. As long as you have rhythm in your heart, you will find your drum. Drumming isn't about making music, it's about speaking to the spirits, speaking to life. Make the tree of life your drum. Let your rhythms reach the heavens." Years later, Olumide became a legendary drummer, revered not just in the small village of Ife but all across the Yoruba land. His beats weren't just notes, they were stories, stories of livelihood, of farming, of resilience, of a dream, and a dreamer. In every beat of his drum, the echo of the yam cutter was heard, an ode to his farming roots and rhythmical journey. The story of Olumide teaches us that your roots never defy you but embrace you and shape your stories. It underscores the African value of passion, resilience, and respect for our roots and traditions, and how these values guide us in our journeys to achieve our ambitions. And despite the obstacles put forth by life, as long as your heart beats with passion and dedication, you can indeed shape nations with rhythms. Subscribe for more true African success stories. Support the channel to keep this knowledge alive.